I'm not making much money at all. I
Okay.
mean, I'm in fact losing some. I'm losing a pretty good bunch of airplanes and different reasons. I'm not doing very well during those few years there.
Okay.
About the early '80s, it was kind of a dry time. Mexico had got so hot, and I'd been shot up down there and tortured in a Mexican prison till I didn't want to go to Mexico anymore.
Well, when did this happen? You were tortured in a Mexican prison?
I almost tortured almost to death. Would you let me tell you about that?
I'd like you to tell me about that. Yeah, please, Roger. Oh, and is this before or after?
This is
the
before.
Medellin Cartel was formed.
Oh, before.
Before.
This
Okay.
is why I didn't go back to Mexico anymore. The couple of episodes happened down there that was not healthy.
Okay. Yeah, please tell me about that story.
Anyhow, I was arrested in Mexico, and by 7 agents, and I won't get into that long story where I knocked one in the head and got away from all of them with the bullets flying, and got away. But I had a pilot coming down, an older gentleman, and he landed at Hermosillo at the international airport, and he was supposed to land 5 miles beyond at a cattle ranch, a feedlot. And he just, I don't know why he did it. But anyhow, he had my phony name and my room number in his pocket. And he had $5,000 in the federal. He tried to take it from him, and he wrestled with him. No, Roger said, give it to so-and-so. So anyhow, they arrested me and put me in prison down in Mazatlan. And they done a number on him up in Hermosillo, and he told. So they want me to confess. So I just can't believe it. I haven't done anything. I'm just in a swimming pool, and I'm in my swimming shorts, and I get handcuffed in the pool when the guy shakes hands with me.
Where, like a house or something?
No,
or?
in a real nice hotel.
A real nice hotel, okay.
So they take me to the prison, and I sit there, and I mean, it was miserable, and it was so hot. And after about 3 days in that cell, where all the drug addicts and drunks are thrown, they take me back there to the torture chamber, and they decide I'm going to tell. And they hold my head under gaseous water until I can't stand it any longer. And then you just fight like crazy to come up. I mean, it burns you daylight.
They held your head underwater?
Yeah, it's like a tub, and it's got some kind of bubbly. If you inhale it, it will make you nearly explode your head.
Okay.
If it goes up your nose. After one time of that, it'd take 4 of them to hold you down.
Wow.
So anyhow, I had that, and then I was beaten all over till I was just yellow and black.
What were they asking you? Were they trying to get anything out? Or were they just
sign the papers and it'll all be over? Sign it, it'll be over. They'd grab your hair and shove it up. Sign the papers. So
what were the papers for?
Just to confess that you were a marijuana smuggler and that you're going to get 6 years in prison. Okay. And I thought, well, if you don't sign it, I knew they can keep you 2 years for nothing.
Right.
But so they give the room was about 5 foot square and 14 feet high, and it was hot. And there was a little spot on the door about that big. And they brought a man in. He's a black man, and he was wrapped in he was frozen, and he was wrapped in newspaper about inch strips around, just like you'd wrap something, like a mummy. And you're completely frozen. And they stuck the ice hook in his rib. He must have been used over and over again, and they hung him on the wall. And as he thawed out, his eyes, the water run down his face, and it looked like he was crying. And then, of course, the formaldehyde ran out of his orifices, other ones too. And the old paper come running off of him, and later on you could see his liver where it's pulled apart. And they'd open the door, "You next, son of a bitch, you next." And so anyway, that didn't scare me so bad. I'd butchered large animals all my life, but the smell was awful with that formaldehyde puddling on the floor. And the floor
It didn't bother you that much?
well, as far as liver and a dead man, it just that didn't scare me. It's just
Okay.
like, all right, I don't like it, but it was no more than if you'd had a whatever.
Yeah.
So I had to sleep, and that floor was filthy, and on the wall was dried blood that was just one of the room that they hurt people in. They kill you back there. So I went to sleep, and I put my head down on the bottom of that door to breathe like that, and I'm breathing the fresh air from that side, but I'm getting the formaldehyde over close to me, and I went to sleep. And I know where Walt Disney got some of his cartoons from. I had pink flying pigs and horses and all kind of colorful animals flying around in that state of mind from breathing the formaldehyde. I was high on something.
Oh, really?
And so then when I woke up and I saw that dead man hanging there, it took a minute to figure out which was a nightmare and which was real. I had to kind of pinch myself to see which where the
Right.
reality was.
Right.
And then they took me out and they bent me over naked and buttered my bum and packed it full of hot chili, ground chili. And I'm talking about screaming and talking ugly. I did some of it. And I looked at their faces. If I can find you, I will kill you if I can get out of here.
Oh my God.
And then, so just one day, after that, they put me back in general population for a few days.
And you didn't sign anything,
I
obviously.
didn't, of course, I didn't sign it. I would have died for it. Signed up for 6 years for nothing. Just didn't
Right.
do it. So back there, I got a word out, and to Mari and to some other people. And then one morning, they just said, come quick. And they took me out the back door of the prison. And they put me in a pickup truck, brand new, and it had a horse's head on the door. And they sped through the streets of Mazatlan, and they went to a bank. And I went in, the banker spoke English, and he said, listen, Joaquin, that's where I got shot down that morning, and that's the load I went back after, has given Roberto the $17,000 that you paid for the loan, and he has paid it to get you out of this prison. Are you satisfied with that? Don't ask, man. So I went to the hotel where Mari was, and we got on the 747, and I didn't believe I was out of there. I looked terrible.
How many days were you there?
About 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And so I got out of that place, and when the tires of that 727 was a brand new plane, I just couldn't believe they're not going to come get me again. I was, and the wheels went up, kaplump, next stop, Los Angeles. I was like, wow, that was on the 4th of July, 1974.
After that, I gotta say, man, I would have been like ready to call it quits.
I didn't want to go back to Mexico anymore. That's one reason I kind of quit. I had another encounter that was bad there too. So after several of those encounters, okay, I decided to go to Colombia.
Colombia, they don't treat you as bad if you go to prison there.
They're more professional.
More professional.
You didn't go to prison. You just had professional people loading you and had good gasoline, and
Okay.
we
They had a better operation
oh,
going.
These other people were peasants that, some of them maybe couldn't even read and write. It had something going.
Oh man.